I'm Eytchison. I just graduated from Lipscomb University with a BFA in directing. And so while I really love performing, and that's sort of where my background began, I really, really love putting everything together. And so I'm hoping someday that I will be able to be sort of like the commander of the enterprise, right, leading the way. But for now, I want to get as much experience behind the camera and in front of the camera so that I can understand all aspects of it. So if I ever am the boss, I can understand how to speak everybody's language on the crew, you know? So that's me. So The Girl Without a Name really got my attention because I love mysteries, and I love. When I was working on another project with you guys, and I remember you were showing newspaper articles from your town that it was talking about, it was addressing a cold case, and I was just like fascinated by that because I watch detective shows. I like to think of myself as a detective even though I've never detected a crime. So that was sort of the interest of the project, and then also I just love being involved in film. So I was really excited when I saw that you posted and that there was a part available, and I was like, oh, that could be cool to be involved with. So yeah, and I'm really excited to see what it'll be when it's all put together, and what your findings will have for the audience to reflect on. I think that's so cool. The day of filming was really fun, and it was sort of a self-contained adventure because I drove an hour and a half to get there. And then I had to drive an hour and a half to get back. So I felt like I had gone on a journey to do the film and then come back on a journey. But once I got there, I was really fascinated by the first set that we were on, the Poor Farm. I was blown away by, first of all, the fact that the building was at all intact. But then second of all, just what a neat location it was. And I got in trouble because I kept leaning against the walls and getting dust on my dress. And one of the ladies who's in charge of makeup kept being like, stop that. But I really liked the atmosphere of the crew. Everybody was really congenial, and it wasn't laid back in the sense like we don't want to get done. But there were no attitudes, there were no people with problems, like there was nobody there with a chip on their shoulder. Everybody was there to enjoy themselves, and a lot of people hadn't done much of the work before, and so they were really excited. So that was a really fun experience, even though it was a long day. And I remember driving back and just being so glad that I'd come up for that day and been able to hang out and do a little film. I mean, first of all, I think every story is important to tell. But then what I love about this story is the way that you've layered other people's stories in, like you were talking about in the trailer, how when you were researching, you found little tidbits of these other people's life stories. And I just thought that was really beautiful, you know, that somebody like a family like Jack and Jenny and Mrs. Moats, those people generally don't get their stories told to a large audience. You know, history forgets so many people. And that's why I think it's beautiful to tell even just a snippet of a story, and even if it's not exactly what somebody else's story was, to give voice to somebody and their struggle that otherwise we wouldn't know about, I think is really powerful. So that's my favorite part, because that's the part I did. But I think that's why documentaries and stories in general are important, as we give voice to things that otherwise would be silent.